Hello. So, I was able to finally get into my shop. So, I'm here. I'm going to give it a minute, just see if anybody hops on. Wait, I think my sound's on over here. Hold on. I didn't want to get feedback. Hello. Well, good afternoon. I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's 12:30, about 12:39 actually. Hello. So I was locked out of my shop this morning. I was in tears. My husband is on his way to Florida, so he took my car. He's going down to the office there. But anyways, he's going to be there a few days, so he took my car. And I wasn't even thinking about it. My shop keys are on my car keys. And I do have an extra set, but they're in my car. So I did message the owner of the shop here that I rent from, and she just happened to be coming by. She did get back to me. Usually I don't hear from her for like 2 or 3 days. She did get back to me and said, I'm sorry, my phone was on vibrate. I am actually heading over to the shop to do payroll. So she let me in. So I'm just going to go and get another set made. And that way, because my husband's not going to be back for just a few days. So, yeah, I was crying. All right, so I'm going to do a really quick wreath here. And I had this sign, and I really like it. So I really wanted to use it. I just haven't been, I don't know, I haven't been in the mood to do any more wreaths. I don't know why, probably because I've just been busy. But honestly, I haven't been feeling great. My husband was sick for like 5 weeks. And I got what he got. So, just, you know, stuffy, little achy, no fevers, nothing like that, you know, so no flu, nothing like that. Just the typical crud that you get this time of year in Pennsylvania because the weather here stinks. So I thought I need to get in here and make a wreath. And I've been wanting to do this one because I love it. So this was my inspiration. I love the leopard print. I love leopard print. And this leopard print is a little bit like glittery. So we're going to go off of this with these colors. So let's put this aside. I got a little bit of a cough because I'm a little bit congested. So basically just yuck. But we're going to, if you've never used a wreath work form, this is what this is called, a wreath work form. Usually when you get them, they're all tucked in like this. And, you know, all of these are tucked in. So first thing I do is I go and I grab these out, okay? We can leave the center in. Let's do this. And usually I just pull my outside ring out, make sure that there's always 10 and then 8. So there's 18 total, but you'll have 10 ties around the outside and then 8 on the inside. I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, 10 on the outside, 8 on the inside. And that's how these work. And I like, because they got this profile that comes up, these make really nice full wreaths. Now, these kind of wreaths will not be the kind that you could stick in between a screen door and a door. So just fair warning on that. You know, some states, the screen doors are more prevalent than they are in other states. It's just, you know, that's the way it is. In Florida, I see screen doors, but I don't see a lot of them. Usually people will have entryways or enclosed entryways, things like that. But here in Pennsylvania, screen doors are a very big thing. So this is not the type that you would put into like in between a screen door, because I'm going to be honest with you, it will not work. But this would be great just hanging in a home, hanging above a bed. Wreaths are pretty above a bed. And, you know, or on an outdoor door in maybe like covered area. I always suggest covered because the sun is so bad. It's just, you can't get away from damage of the sun. All right. So let's start off. I'm going to go with the red, black, and white theme. So I picked out 3 Deco mesh because we're going to do this in, haven't done it this way in a while. So let's just go in. All right. I'm going to, I debated on what to start with. I'm going to use this as my base. Yeah, I'm going to use this as my base. So let's get these out. I actually debated on, should I use that as my base? Yeah, I'll use it as my base. All right, so we're going to do this really easy, really simple. How do you like this? I'm not going to use it right now, not for this, but I'll use it when I start cutting. I got this on Etsy. Love it. It's a Deco mesh holder, and I'm going to show you it in a minute. But I'm going to take this and I am going to, this is 10-inch mesh, and you could do the same exact thing with 21-inch mesh. And I was going to do that, but I don't see any Christmas colors. No, I have a green, but I'm not going with green. So I don't have any. I got to get some more. And Michael's is actually, if you order online, pick up in store, they are giving you 40% off of all regular purchases. So I'm going to have to get some more. But all I do is I just grab this little bit down here, and I'm going to start on my outside. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little tail, and I'm going to take this in, and I'm going to put it into my first tie. And then I go and I take about maybe 10 inches. You don't have to be exact. 10 inch I pull out, and then I puff it up, and then I put it into my next tie. And you get these little poofs that come around, all right? And these are really nice when you do a 21-inch because they get really nice and full in here. But I don't have it, so we're going to do it with this. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And when I first started doing wreaths years ago with Deco mesh, this, 21-inch was the only size that they had at that time when it first came out. And this was a big method back then. So methods have really come a long way. People have figured out different ways. And there's really no right and no wrong with Deco mesh. It usually always comes together in the end. My sides are actually hurting from coughing so much through the night. It's horrible. Can't escape it. I just talked to my husband, and he is and about middle way through South Carolina. And it's already starting to warm up. It's 60. So he's super excited about that because my husband loves Florida. I do too, but he definitely loves it more than I do. I love it as a, I want it to be a snowbird, kind of. Because I do not like summers there at all. But he had to go to the office down there. He had some stuff that needed done. So he often went. And we don't fly. We are not big fans on flying. We've had some not horrifying experiences, but enough 2 times on different flights where we've had some massive turbulence. On the one for a good solid 50 minutes. It was horrible, horrible. We were going through some rough weather for like 50 minutes, even though they kept trying to go around it. So that was horrible. That was our last one. And then our first one we went to, we was going to Disney years ago for their 25th anniversary. And our landing gear wouldn't come down. So we had to circle the runway 3 times. When it finally came down, it sounded like a bomb went off. All right, so all I've done was, as you can see, I've just went around the edge, and I kind of pull these poofs out as I'm going. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here in the middle. Okay, so let's put all of these up. I'm going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go around the middle. Hopefully I have enough here. So we are not fans of flying. Do I have another one of these? I sure hope so, because if I run out, I'm in big trouble. We will have to go with Plan B, and I don't know what Plan B is. Let me look real quick. Well, we better hope we have enough. It's going to be close. No Plan B here. All right. So what's everybody doing for their Sunday here? I really like doing this with 21-inch mesh because it gets so thick. But we're going to bulk it up. We are going to bulk it up. And really, that's really what you do with Deco meshes. You just keep working it until it starts getting more filled. Sounds like someone's next door. There's usually no one in over there, but she must have had to come back. Sundays and Mondays is my quiet days here. Usually I don't come in on the weekends, but because my husband's away and I'm not feeling good, so I'm not going over to see any grandchildren. So I don't need them to get sick. They actually just got over, most of them have got over being sick as well. We're going to be cutting this close. And before you start, always make sure that you have the right amount of pipe cleaners on here, because sometimes these things fall off along the way. Look at that. I have just enough. Well, I couldn't have done that again. That's good, because I didn't have a backup plan. I'd have been over here winging it. Look at that. It's perfect. It is exactly the right amount. Wow. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to where I first tied that one in. I'm going to untie that and stick that back down in there. And I'm going to pull these poofs out. Okay, so this is where we're at so far. And you can see it's very sparse still. It would be a lot more thick if we had 21 inch in here, because there's a lot more to the poofs, but we don't. So we are going to make this thicker. So I'm going to cut, put this aside. I'm going to cut these two. I guess this is one from here. All right. So I will need so 10, I will need 18 total. And we're probably even going to use more than that. So, look how, okay, here we go. We're going to use this. This thing is so nice because all I'm going to do is I'm going to do that on that row, and then I can cut both of these at the same time, which is awesome. Let me get my another cutter here. There we go. My blade needs replaced on my other one. So look at that. We can take these, put these together, and we can cut these at the same time. So I'm going to double these in there because I really need to get fullness in there. So I'm going to cut these at 18 inches. And I'm going to do 18 of them. Because I really need to bulk that up. If there's enough. 4. We'll do 9 of these to start. And then we'll go back around, we'll get these put in, and then we'll go back around and get more. How do I determine the right amount of those? That is a work wreath form, a wreath working form. It's already got them on there, but 18 is a good start for them. For the flatter ones, you can do like 9 and 9, 9 on the outside, 9 on the inside. For those, they have 10 on the outside and 8 on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 8. We'll start with 9. We'll get these put in, and then we'll go back in around. We'll see what this looks like. I seriously do these Deco mesh wreaths. I swear, I don't ever do the same way more than once sometimes. Like, there's so many ways to do them. I'll be like, oh, hey, let's do it that way. I don't know why. I just, because they all turn out different when you do them differently. Okay, so here we are. We've already got this. And again, we don't want to see that wire frame in here. So we cut these at 18 inches. I am going to go around and alternate these in, just with the burrito roll. You know how that is. Tight roll down here, walk it up, and then just curl this side in up here. And then when you come in, it kind of looks like a butterfly. That's what you want. And then I'm going to go in and I am going to undo this pipe cleaner here. And I'm going to tuck that in. And I'm going to alternate these through. So I did a black there, we're going to go red. And we're going to do this the whole ways around. And we're probably going to need to do another row. So, in with them because I think it's not going to be thick enough because my inside ring was done with 10-inch mesh. If I'd have done it with a 21-inch mesh, believe me, it would be a lot thicker, but because I didn't, it's not. So alternating red, black, red, black. What we're trying to do is just really get in here and get this thickened up so that we don't see that base. The wire frame, we don't want that. So we've been staying up here in Pennsylvania. We will be up here until Christmas. We've been staying in our camper up here. So we bought our camper, and we let my daughter, who's down in Florida with us, we let her and my grandchildren, her husband and her, to stay in our house. I figured it would be better for them than for us. So that way they could put the tree up, things like that. Sometimes they fray so bad. How do you stop that? Well, it just depends. If you're doing this is the poly Deco mesh. That's why you want to curl that in. Because sometimes they do fray. I'm not going to say they don't. That's why you want to curl that under so that it's really staying under. But if you have the fabric mesh, which, you know, that's one of my favorites because it's so soft. This is all poly mesh. You can cut that with like a hot wood burning tool on a glass cutting board, and that will seal the ends on that. Now, I don't know about this. That's why you kind of just want to tuck that in and roll this down in and get that inside. It just helps it the curl to stay under. See how it's already starting to thicken up in here. But our camper is so dry. I really need to get a humidifier and put in it. The heat is just incredibly dry. So I'm hacking all night long. My sides are sore. Still just alternating around red and black, red and black. And we're still on the outside. So there was 10 of these that went on the outside. I still think some of my favorite methods to use, it is a 21-inch. I just like the 21-inch mesh. Maybe because I started with that years ago. I don't know. I like the 21-inch mesh. And there was rumor there for a while that they were going to discontinue it. All right, so here we are. We've got the outside. Okay, but you still see it's kind of very, very like, you could still see right through this. This is very thin, like see-through. So let's start on the top ring, the inner ring. And I'm going to try, I know it's going to be inevitable, but since there's a red here, up here, I'm going to start right above it with a black. You know how I feel about stripes. I like to alternate my stuff and so it doesn't like stripe. And again, you know, there's so many different methods. And if you feel that, you know, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I can still see through that frame, add more mesh. That's all. Just keep adding mesh to it. You're going to see how much mesh we end up with in the end. Because I'm going to go back around again and cut more, and we're going to double mesh these. Just simply because I can still see through there, and I don't like that. You should not be able to see through to your wire frame. And that's simply just because I used the 10-inch mesh. And this 10-inch mesh was not a very solid color. Like if I would have probably used the burlap, it would have been thicker. But this poly mesh is thin. I think that's another reason why I like the burlap mesh. All right, last two pieces, and then we're going to go back around and we're going to do this again. So that when we're done, this should be nice and full. Last piece, and we'll cut more. Coming together, but as you can see, we could still, I don't think it's still full enough. So put this aside. We're going to go back in and we're going to add more mesh. Now I've never done it this way with the 10-inch on the outside, so the 10-inch mesh as poof method, and it's definitely not my favorite, so I probably won't do that again. We need 9 more of these again. Almost 7. Should be close to the end of the roll after this. 8. There we are. Okay. All right, let's go back in and we are going to thicken this up again. So what I'm going to do this time is I am going to start again on my outside row. And where I put a black, I'm going to put a red on top of it. So one twist tie will literally have 3 pieces of mesh. And we'll have that bottom poof, and then it's going to have the alternating black and red. Okay. I haven't even had an appetite lately, which is a good thing. I tried to eat a little bit of, stopped at Wendy's and got some chili, which usually I love, but nope. Couldn't even really eat. Okay, so this is really starting to thicken this up in here, which we wanted. And it's really filling in that base so I don't see it, that wire, so, because I don't want to see the wire frame through there. Anybody been doing any craft shows? I've heard so many mixed reviews on craft shows this year. Pennsylvania, they're saying nah. They're really not going well. But I've heard some down south are. Good morning. Good afternoon here. I'm probably not going to stay here long in the shop today because I'm not feeling the greatest. But I wanted to get here. I wanted to do a new wreath. I used to make candles years ago, and had some candles that I wanted to make. So I've been getting the candles done, and got that done. Some wax melts, tarts. So I wanted to come in and get those labeled. One of my favorite scents is bayberry, and I poured that, and they smell so good. It smelled like Christmas as soon as I opened up the door. That's just one of my childhood memories. You've been down with the flu. Oh, yeah. We don't have the flu, but let me tell you, sure got the crud. But you know how sometimes you get them childhood memory smells? Bayberry's one of mine. Every Christmas, my mom would go buy bayberry candles, and she burned them for the Christmas season. So look how that's already starting to fill out that that outer ring. Just having all of that, it's finally coming together. So that's one of my childhood. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I not write the right amount? No, I did. That'd be 8. So yeah, so I poured bayberry candles, and instantly takes me back to childhood. So when I walked through the door and I smelled that bayberry, was like, it's one of my favorites just because of the childhood memories, I guess. Does anybody have a favorite scent that does that? What is it that you smell and it takes you back to childhood? Whether it be, Christmas or... But I know Christmas, of course, has a lot of scents to it. So that would be something where a lot of people would probably get a good memory smell from. Reminds you of the Christmas trees as a child. Yeah, that was a big, I guess bayberry was it still is. But it was a big scent. Probably back in like the 60s and 70s. At least that's when I was born in 68. But now there's just so many different scents compared to, it was like back, when you see the olive, like the diarrhea green, baby poop green furniture and appliances, or the yellows, the mustard yellows, or baby poop yellow. This is really starting to thicken up, so that's good. And we got 3 more left. The smell of Old Spice. Yes. Yes, I still have that smell too. That reminds me of my dad. I think every man wore that. It's like the 90s kids. Every boy child in the 90s wore Axe, A-X-E, or Bod, B-O-D, which was like a cheaper version of Axe. But back in the day when we were kids, every man wore Old Spice. Yes, that still takes me back too. Last one. All right, so I'm happy with the thickness, the fullness of this wreath. Okay, so it thickened up, all right? And we don't see the base really through there now, so that's good. That's good. And that's what we wanted. All right, so I'm going to put this on first. Where's my scissors? So we're going to move on because we need to get this in here. And then we will design and put our ribbon tails and our bow around this. All right. All right, so this already has 2 holes in here, which is awesome because you know what? I'm going to use them. I am going to thread wire through them, and I'm just going to use them to hold onto my frame. All I'm doing is taking some floral wire, and I am going to literally run these through the holes, and it's going to get attached to my frame. And then what I usually do is I usually come up here and I twist this really tight. so that this doesn't go flopping around either. It's cold here in Pennsylvania today. The sun's shining, but it's cold. All right, so I'm literally wanting to put this right in the middle. So, that's where I'm going to attach it. Sometimes I find attaching signs and bows is the hardest part. Okay, we got one. Now we're going to find the other one to put it down through. And I want to snug it down in there, but I don't want it snug too tight, but I want it tight enough. This is where, like, when you put a sign into a deco mesh, you don't want it flattening everything, but you don't want it like that. That's too tight. You don't want it loose. So now I gotta find what oh, here it is. So there's always kind of like a fine line with attaching your bow. Or your sign. You want it to be sitting on top, but yet you want it nestled down in to where it is nice and snug. Alright, so let me look at it, make sure it's in the middle, which it is. I need to set up my wreath. You know, I always tell you to make sure that you hang it on a wall. If you have one of these wreath boards, use this, or just a hook on the wall works, and a command hook is what I used for the longest time. Because I like to take them and I like to check them. Alright. Just to make sure that I got things where they need to be. And they are. Okay. Okay. Well, here we are. All right. So now I'm going to go around and I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to grab the bow. There's a lot of black in that for Christmas. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully some of this white in here will break it up. I am going to keep that. I still have enough on there to start another one, so probably 2 more. Alright, so these were the ribbons that I had chose. This was the leopard print because there's leopard print in his hat. I got a red with just a little bit of glistening red on the end. Some black and white, some white. I really don't see. So we're going to start with the red. We are going to do a terry bow. And if you took my bow making class, you know what a terry bow is. We're going to do 7-inch loop. We're going to work down in inches every time. So we'll start with a 7-inch loop. Where's my scissors? And I have been learning to trim my ends. I'm trying to train myself that as I go, my dovetails. You don't have to dovetail them, you could slant them. But it makes it a lot easier on me when it's in the end. That way I am not sitting there trying to, because guaranteed I always forget a tail somewhere. So now we are going to, look how pretty this is. It's like a velvet. We are going to work our way down. Our next loop will be 6 inches. Oh, I wanted to start the other way. So let's do a 6-inch loop. And if you've never used a easy bow maker, girl, you don't know what you're missing. This is great for anybody who has problems with their hands. And to be honest with you, even if you didn't have problems with your hands, let me tell you, when this ribbon sandwich gets up here, and it is 4 inches thick, you're going to be thanking yourself that that's not in your hand. When I first did bows years ago, we didn't have these, and we did them hand-tied our bows. And I worked for a shop that was all about bows. And some of that ribbon would get really, like, thick. You'd get it almost all done, and you'd lose it. So, I am thankful for these. Now I don't even have to hold it. So this will be a 5-inch loop. And as you know, I always set my loops and my tails. My bow gets set as I'm going. That way in the end, when I pull it off, it's almost all set for me. And it makes life easy. Easier. That is way too long. I can tell you that right now. Okay. See, I'm always keeping with an X. Goodness gracious. All right, so this will be a 4-inch loop. Did I, hold on, I didn't do this right. It was backwards. Always making sure you twist that in there, because if you don't, then the right side of your ribbon is not up. And you always want these loops to be upward. You're learning just how, oh, you're going to love it once you practice, practice, practice. When I first got mine, let me tell you, I did not use it. I put it away for about 8 months. I just couldn't get the hang of it. I didn't understand. I was like, I don't understand this thing. I'll just continue to hand tie them. And then finally I said, you know what? This arthritis in my hand is getting bad. So I am going to learn this. That's what I did. I am so thankful for that. All right. So there we are. I'm going to get a pipe cleaner. We're going to start working this up. As you can see, this is a very thick ribbon sandwich here. So I kind of just pull it up to the top, put this down over it, and get it kind of snugged up there as I pull it off so that I don't lose that middle. And then I twist it on really tight, because you really kind of want your bows to stand up like that. That's ultimately how you want it to be. And then it kind of just does the work for itself. Yes, you can use a zip tie. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And then now all we're going to do is we are going to go around. We are going to fluff out these bows, these loops. We're just going to pull them around because they've been pretty much already set. They don't need a lot of convincing on where to go. They kind of already know where they need to go. And that's why I like to get my bows set prior to pulling them off of the maker, off the bow maker. Okay. All right, so let me see where I think I would like to do this. I think we're going to kind of stick it up in there, maybe at like 11 o'clock. So let's get this put that in. I'm going to probably need to lengthen my pipe cleaners. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get a pipe cleaner. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to lengthen this a little. All I'm doing is just adding it to that pipe cleaner. It's already there. Because there's a lot of Deco mesh here to get through. Where are we at? We got about 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock. Let's say like maybe like 11. And putting on your bows and sometimes your signs, it is a blind game. You just got to go in and feel where it goes. And that's basically what I'm doing. sometimes this is where you'll need to trim. If your bone needs trimmed in certain spots, this is where you'll do it. Like this is going to get trimmed up. This is going to get trimmed. This is too long, so it will get trimmed. Okay, so let me hang it up. And this is why this will get trimmed, because you don't want it covering that sign up. This is where we'll finagle that around, move that around some. All right, there we are. So it's not completely covering up Santa. All right, so now we're going to add ribbon tails. And this is going to bring in all the colors of the ribbon all around. There we go. And I know that I want a little bit more white in there, so I'm definitely going to use this. I'm going to use this black and white because I like it, but let me see what I want to use with that. I really want to bring this in. I want more white in there, so I'm going to do the white, and I think I'm going to do that together. And I'm going to do the red and white with the pretty red that we used, just to grab some more white in there. I'm really liking that black and white. All right. So I'm going to cut these at 13 inches. And I will need 10 and... No, I will need 9 and 9. I will need 18. So I'm trying to figure out if I have enough of this. I might not have enough of this. Let me see if I can get another, if I have another. And I don't think I do. So let me see. I don't think I have enough of this. Believe it or not, I don't think I do. That stinks. All right. All right, so I'm going to go to plan B here. I have this here in the 1.5 inch, and I think I'm going to stick that with that. So we kind of cheated on that a little. I bought a couple rolls of these. 2, 3, cutting these at 13 inches. I always feel like 12's too small, 14 is too long. I used to do them at 14, but then I was always cutting them down. Alright, so let's put these together. We'll dovetail these, and then we'll start our other ones. I don't think I'm going to stay much longer at the shop today. I have chicken noodle soup cooking in a crock pot at home. Homemade chicken noodle soup. I was hungry for it when I got up. So that's what I'm making. So when I get home, I will have some chicken noodle soup. So I did that before I left the house because I was locked out of here anyways. It's a little thick. Has anybody been watching Christmas movies? I have been. One of my favorite, all-time favorite, is The Christmas Story. I love it. I'm actually not going to use that thick black. I'm going to use... I'm going to use these two reds. Maybe not. I don't have enough of this, and I really, really, really wish I did. Let me see. Let me see if I do. Oh, I did. Yay. Oh, look, exactly. Well, I couldn't have done that again if I wanted to. All right. My husband hates the Christmas. I wish you could. Chicken noodle soup. It's so easy to do. Really. It's very easy to do. And I like to use leftovers. So like if we had chicken, I would pull it apart. I would put it in a freezer bag. And I will use it. I didn't though. So I just, I got some chicken breasts. And I put them in, boiled them up. Made some chicken stock. And I did that, and then shredded it up, put it in the crock pot. I use them because I never have it. I don't have chicken broth, like Swanson's chicken broth. I never buy the containers. What I do is I buy the bouillon cubes. So I had that. And then the bouillon powders, which I like the powder better than the cubes. So I put some of that in it, cut up some carrots, put that in it, salt and pepper. And I like the herb. I think it's the herb. It's got like a blend, the chicken powder. I like the blend because it's got herbs and stuff in it. You can cut up some celery and put in it. I didn't have any, so it's just got carrots and chicken and noodles. So it's very easy to do. And then I will boil my noodles. I never put them in. And I like, my granddaughter loves them. She always asks me to make them. There is a homemade brand that is sold in a bag. It's Amish noodles. 2, 3, 4. My husband loves Klusky. But I will boil them up. 3, 6. And I will add them about, like, right before I'm ready to serve. I don't put my noodles into the soup because my husband does not like soggy noodles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. So, there's so many recipes for it. I just do a simple recipe and everybody loves it. So, I usually make it at camping when we're camping. It's always gone, and it's just a simple chicken noodle soup. But my mom would always add like celery, carrots. I did have carrots, so I put that in. I didn't have celery, so I didn't have that. But I did use the, I think it's called Herb O or something. Seasoning mix, bouillon mix, chicken seasoning mix. That's what I always use. Alrighty, here we are. Now all we're going to do is take these ribbon towels and we're going to alternate them around. So we are going to go back through here. This is where we're at so far. We are going to go back through here, and every twist tie that is in here, we are going to go in and we're just going to start alternating these colors, these ribbons in. So I know that I'm going to do this pile together, and I'm going to do this pile together. Yeah. So let's start. And all you do is you take them, you layer them on each other, you fold them in half, find your middle, and you are going to walk your feet up them like you do with just grabbing the middle, like you do when you do your Deco mesh. So let's go around the outside ring and start throwing these in. And then all I do is alternate them all the way around. This one is too long. And then you're just going to pull them out. Let me show you. So I'm basically going back in here. Get some of this stuff out of my way. And I'm just grabbing these up like this. I am going to open up that twist tie where we have the Deco mesh rolls in. What in the world? Where in the world is that twist tie at? Oh, it was stuck in here. So I'm going to just open it up. And I'm going to put this, twist this down in. And then I'm going to pull them tails out. I'm going to alternate them when I pull them out. So it'll be, as you can see, I just take them and then I just pull them apart. All right. And this really is the basic concept of a basic Deco mesh wreath. And I will tell you what I've been finding lately. This year has been a tough year for people not buying the more expensive wreaths. They're buying the wreaths that are $100 and under. In the past, there was definitely, now there's still a market. There's still going to be people that are, you know, they're going to buy the more expensive things. But in general, I have noticed that people this year are wanting more of the $100 and under. And I'm sure that it has to do with the economy. You know, we're, what, 2 years in to things are not getting any better. We would have hoped by now that prices of gas and food and stuff would have come down, housing. It hasn't. But don't get me started on that one. So people are not buying a lot of the more expensive things. They are wanting to stay $100 and under. So this would be a great wreath to do that with, because you could easily stay under that price range with that, because you have 3 rolls of mesh, and I usually wait and get them on sale. So, you know, you're figuring you're probably paying about $6, or I buy them at places like Deco Exchange, Craft Outlet, and they're about $6 a roll, between 5 and 6. So we'll even go upper $6. So even at the most, we'll say 7 with tax. And we use 3 rolls of that, so that's $21. And then our sign was, I think that sign was like $8. So there's $29, $30. And then some ribbon here. My bows, usually these bows turn out to be around the $3 mark. Making a terry bow is usually between 3 and 5. So we'll go upper 5. So you're looking at 35. And then some ribbon here, we're going to add at the most another 5. So you're looking at $40. And if you wanted to double that, you could get around $80, $75. And you've doubled your profits. That gives you for your time of putting it together. So, you know, this could easily be sold $65, $70. I don't know how in the world I got so good on some of these. And it seems like people are buying handmade wreaths around 65, 70 bucks. So that's a good price range. And again, I'm just alternating these as I go around. I'm almost finished with this outer ring. And then we will move on to the inner ring. And make sure when you pull the, make sure that when you put these in, these ribbon tails, make sure you spread them apart. You don't want them laying onto each other. You want to see both of the ribbons. Okay, last one on the outer ring. Okay, so the outer ring is done. Okay, so moving on to the inner ring. So let's find a spot and we'll start. And again, I'm trying to watch where I'm starting with this because I don't want the stripes, but it's inevitable. Sometimes they eventually end up close together. It is what it is at that point. Now when I get closer to the bow, sometimes the bow is in an area where one of the zip tie or the ties are closed. I just skip it and act as if I had one there. This twist tie away from my tie for my plaque there, my sign. And when you're doing your photos of your products, always fluff your bow. I was just at my own house yesterday. I stopped in. Okay, so where was we? We would be. We're going to have to skip because there's a hidden tie under there. But anyways, let me go back around here. And my daughter had my Christmas wreath up. She did not fluff that bow. That bow looked hideous. So I had to stand outside and fluff the bow before I went in, and then told her, don't you put that out there without ever fluffing a bow. That bow was smashed to pieces. It's funny how when you don't do floral design, how you kind of overlook those things. Like I go into Walmart and you see all of these bows that are out for like 10, 12 bucks. You know, they just sell bows. They're in a package, on a box. And they are horrible. And I'm thinking to myself, people will pick these up and be like, oh, that's a nice bow. And this thing's all crumpled up flat. Like, I don't know. Can't do it. So I literally just got to walk away because I'd be sitting there fluffing them up. So when you take pictures of your wreaths, make sure your bow looks on point. Last one, because I don't think, I could be wrong though. Oh, you know what? I might be able to find that last one in there. I don't think I covered it with the bow. I could be wrong. We're going to search for it. Let me see if I can find it in here. It is. I can find it. Ta-da! Ta-da! All right. I'm just going to fluff this bow, make sure that it looks good. And there we are. See how it's nice and thick? It's all filled in. Let me look at it. I always do one last look to make sure it is on point. And it is. All right. That's it. That's it, guys. Super simple, super easy. It's a very quick wreath to make. How long we've been in here, I don't know. It really is a very easy way to do a wreath, to get a lot of fullness from it. And that's it. Very easy. All right. I'm going to probably clean up shop and I'm going to go home. What do you guys think? I love black, white, and red together. And then we had a little bit of leopard print in here with this hat. What do you think? It's funny because sometimes some of the things that I think is stunningly beautiful, and I'll be like, that's going to be the one that sells. And then nobody buys it. And then the one I'm like, yeah, I'm not real crazy about that. That's the first one that goes. So that just goes to show that my taste isn't that great. I always say that all the time. My taste must not be that great. All right, guys, I am going to get off of here. I'm going to put this over in my shop. Now, I will come across the back. You see, I'll have this pipe cleaner net. I will, like that white pipe cleaner. And then I also have that green floral wire in here. I'm going to snip that. Make sure you always check your back. Snip those things. Tuck them back up into so nothing scratches your door. So I am going to clean up the back here with just those 3 things that need snipped and tucked. All right. All right. Everybody, you have a blessed day.